They called him many things: the cursed king, the destroyer of Jerusalem, the builder of Babylon. To his enemies, he was a tyrant. To his people, a guardian of the gods. This is the story of Nebuchadnezzar II, the Babylonian ruler whose decisions reshaped the ancient Near East and whose shadow still stretches across history. The year is 605 BCE. On the banks of the Euphrates, near Carchemish, the young crown prince Nebuchadnezzar defeats the Egyptians and the last Assyrian remnants. As he returns in triumph, news arrives. His father, Nabopolassar, is dead. Nebuchadnezzar races back to Babylon and is crowned king. From the very start, he governs with a clear vision. He orders the restoration of the Marduk temple and the towering ziggurat. In Babylon, devotion to the ancient Mesopotamian gods runs deep, and Marduk stands above them all. But the empire is restless. Encouraged by Egypt, King Jehoiakim of Judah revolts. Nebuchadnezzar moves swiftly. In 597 BCE, his forces enter Jerusalem, halt the rebellion, and take members of the royal family, officials, soldiers, and artisans into exile in Babylon. He installs a new ruler, Zedekiah, sworn to loyalty. The peace doesn't last. Zedekiah, too, rebels. In 587/586 BCE, Babylonian armies return. They breach the walls, destroy Solomon's temple, and level the city's defenses. Zedekiah is captured. Jerusalem falls. A second, larger deportation follows. For the people of Judah, it is a catastrophe remembered for centuries. Today, the fragment many call the Western Wall is revered as a surviving remnant connected to the Temple Mount complex, rebuilt and destroyed. The Babylonian exile has far-reaching consequences. Many Judeans settle in Babylon and its surroundings. Contrary to later legends of unending cruelty, evidence suggests that many integrate into civic and economic life, some rising to prominence. Prophetic writings encourage them to build houses, plant gardens, and seek the peace of the cities where they live, without abandoning their identity. Scholars argue that during or after this period, key parts of the Hebrew Bible were compiled or edited. Babylon's vast intellectual world, its libraries, myths, and ritual calendars, formed the backdrop for a community redefining itself far from Jerusalem. Ideas such as Sabbath emphasis, community worship beyond the temple, early synagogues, and retellings of flood traditions likely took shape or crystallized in this era, influenced by the region's older Mesopotamian heritage. These links don't erase Judean faith. They show how traditions adapt and endure. To the newcomers, Babylon is astonishing. Palaces, walls, temples, canals, and processional ways lined with lions and dragons. Nebuchadnezzar is not only a warrior, he is a builder. He rebuilds the Ishtar Gate and the processional way, magnifying Babylon's religious heart around Esagila, Marduk's temple, and the ziggurat Etemenanki, often associated with the legendary Tower of Babel. Ancient writers describe the city's grandeur in awe. And what of the Hanging Gardens? Classical authors attribute them to Nebuchadnezzar, said to have built them for a queen who missed the green hills of her homeland. Modern archaeologists remain divided. The garden's existence is debated, and definitive evidence is elusive. Yet the legend persists, one of the most enduring wonders of the ancient world. The Bible's book of Daniel paints Nebuchadnezzar as a king haunted by dreams, a giant statue of gold, silver, bronze, iron, and clay. Empires rising and falling until a divine kingdom endures forever. Another tradition tells of a period of madness, the king living like a beast before regaining his reason. These are theological narratives, not court records. They reveal how later communities interpreted power, pride, punishment, and redemption, and how Nebuchadnezzar became a symbol in stories larger than his own life. Back in Babylon, worship of Marduk stands at the center of public life. Inscriptions describe Nebuchadnezzar as the favored of Marduk, the king who restores temples, digs canals, and secures the land. For Judeans, living among powerful foreign cults test identity. Rather than disappear, they tighten communal practices, from Sabbath observance to circumcision, marking the boundaries that keep a people alive in diaspora. After 43 years on the throne, Nebuchadnezzar II dies in 562 BCE. His successor struggled to maintain the empire's balance. Just 2 decades later, in 539 BCE, Cyrus the Great of Persia conquers Babylon. Cyrus issues decrees allowing displaced peoples, including many Judeans, to return and rebuild. Some go back to Jerusalem. Many remain in Mesopotamia, where thriving Jewish communities will endure for millennia. So, who was Nebuchadnezzar? A conqueror who crushed revolts and razed Jerusalem. A patron of architecture who reshaped one of the world's greatest cities. A figure of myth, recast by prophets and storytellers to explore justice, exile, pride, and faith. Between legend and stone, between scripture and inscription, his legacy is a contested frontier, one that reminds us how power, memory, and belief can shape the story of a single life into the fate of nations. This was the rise and reign of Nebuchadnezzar II, the king history could not forget.